What if you could just describe your dream home and then watch a complete architectural blueprint just appear in minutes? I know, it sounds like something straight out of science fiction, but it's actually happening right now. Today, we're going to look at how artificial intelligence is moving from our screens into our cities and redrawing the very foundation of architecture.
For centuries, an architect's best friends were a pencil and a drafting table. But that classic blueprint, it's being radically redrawn, not by a human hand, but by an algorithm. And this isn't some slow, gradual change. It's a massive, sudden change.
I mean, seriously, what if you could just skip all the technical drawings and sketches? What if you could just have a conversation, describe the perfect house you see in your head, and then watch it come to life right in front of your eyes? Well, this isn't a peek into the distant future anymore. It's the reality of architectural design today. And we're not just talking about a new tool here. This is a fundamental change to the creative process itself. It's transforming how we imagine, how we plan, and ultimately how we create the spaces that literally shape our lives. So how does this actually work, in the real world? Let's get out of the theory and actually design a house right now using AI. So for this, we're going to use a real-world tool. It's called Vitruvius, and it's an AI that's been trained on millions, and I mean millions, of home designs and floor plans. Let's see what it can do.
The whole process is actually incredibly simple. First, you just describe what you're imagining. So let's go with something fun, like a home that looks like a castle on the outside, but is super modern on the inside. Then you just add a few details, like size and layout, and the AI just spits out the results.
Okay, so here are the inputs we're feeding the AI. We've got our castle with a modern interior, 5 bedrooms, and a nice open layout. We'll tell it the location is Houston, and just because this is a dream home, let's go ahead and set the budget to unlimited. Why not?
And boom, this is where the magic happens. In just moments, not days, not weeks, moments. The AI doesn't just give you a sketch, it delivers the whole package. We get a custom floor plan, a bunch of different exterior renderings, and even concepts for the interior design. Instantly. Now, this is what's really fascinating. With our unlimited budget, yeah, we get the grand castle, turrets and all. But what if we change that one variable? What if we tell the AI the budget is, say, $500,000? Well, the turrets disappear, but we still get a beautiful, modern home that actually fits the budget. The AI is iterating in real time based on real-world constraints. It's incredible.
Okay, so that was a pretty cool example, but what's the technology that's making it all possible? Let's take a quick look under the hood. So the core technology here is called generative AI, and these are really sophisticated systems that don't just analyze data, they actually create stuff. You give them some rules, some text prompts, some design criteria, and they will generate completely new designs, plans, and 3D models totally from scratch. I mean, look at this difference side by side. The old way could take months, and you'd only get to see a few versions of the design using static drawings. The new AI-powered process, it shrinks that down to minutes, and you can explore thousands of different options with these dynamic, data-rich models. It's a total game changer. And I really want to be clear here. This is so much more than a simple picture generator. Architects can feed it really complex stuff: local building codes, material costs, exact room dimensions. The AI then generates optimized designs, and this is the crucial part, it outputs professional-grade files. We're talking BIM models, which are these data-packed 3D models of the building, and CAD files that an architect can plug directly into their existing workflow. All right, so we know the technology is fast, and we know it's powerful, but what does that really mean for the real world? This is about so much more than just designing dream homes. It's about tackling some of our biggest global challenges. Just get a load of this number. 99%. One of the leading AI platforms out there reports a 99% reduction in the time it takes to go from that first spark of an idea to a fully developed design. That kind of efficiency doesn't just tweak the workflow, it completely rewrites the entire economics of building. And you better believe the industry is paying attention. A 2024 report from Autodesk found that 76% of firms in architecture, engineering, and construction are planning to ramp up their AI investment, and almost a third of those are planning a strong increase. The momentum here is absolutely undeniable. And we're already seeing tangible results. A firm called Stantec is using AI to calculate and shrink a building's carbon footprint right from the very first concept. Over in California, the Phoenix Project is using the speed to create affordable housing at literally half the cost and time. This tech is being used to build not just faster, but way smarter and more sustainably. This is why it matters.
But with any technology this disruptive, there's always that one big question, the one about the human element.
So what does this all mean for architects? If an algorithm can design an entire building in just a few minutes, does the human architect become obsolete? Well, the overwhelming consensus from the people actually building and using these tools is a really clear no. The best way to think about AI isn't as a replacement, but as the ultimate co-pilot.
So the architect's role isn't disappearing, it's elevating. It's becoming less about the tedious, repetitive drafting work and more about high-level creativity. Their job is now to ask the right questions, to guide the AI's incredibly powerful engine, and to apply that nuanced human judgment and strategic vision that honestly a machine just can't replicate. The AI handles the endless calculations, which frees up the architect to focus on the art.
Which really brings us to this final thought. For centuries, our designs have always been constrained by things like time, budget, and the sheer complexity of our tools. So, what happens when all those constraints start to fall away? What will we build when our creativity is the only limit?